Welcome to our series, Moving America Forward. Each week we'll be focusing on America's entrepreneurs as they take us to new roads, new opportunities, new ways to fill the gaps left by today's failing companies. Our series will be looking at that and a lot more. So come with me and watch as the entrepreneurs of our nation move into the future.
And I'm Doug Llewellyn here in our studios in Los Angeles with our guests today who are from a fascinating company called TechnoTutor, which is headquartered in Houston, Texas. I think you're going to find this story amazing. I'd like you to meet our guests now. First, on my left, I'd like you to meet Cameron Cope. On his left, Catherine Conklin and Avery Williams. They are all co-founders of TechnoTutor. To begin, Cameron, a little while ago, you had a chance to answer some questions from William Shatner. Let's, before we begin in depth here, take a look at a brief portion of that and see how it went. Okay? Okay. Take a look.
You are certainly in an interesting business, but take a moment to describe to me exactly what you do and who you do it for and how it helps move America forward.
Mr. Shatner, we're boldly taking education where it's never gone before. With the rapid changes in technology that we see today, the future presents unique challenges and opportunities. Parents want the very best for their children, and they want them to be prepared to succeed. The author Joseph Campbell said that revolution comes not from attacking, but from bringing something forth. TechnoTutor is revolutionizing education by bringing forth a technology that allows every person to be their very best. And that's how we're moving America and the world forward.
You know, this really sounds like a fascinating story, and it is. You mentioned to Mr. Shatner about some of the challenges we face, especially in the educational field as we move forward. Talk to me a little bit about some of those challenges. What are they?
Well, one of the primary ones is what we call the automation technology. And it sounds complex, but you know when you go to the grocery store and you see there's less checkout lines and you have the one where you do the self-checkout. Right. Right, and you go to the bank and you have the automated tellers, right? And then you have the red box. So more and more jobs are being replaced by technology. In fact, The Economist reported last year that airline pilots, real estate agents, lawyers, doctors will be replaced with software technology over the next 20 years. So the big question that we looked at was, considering all this, how can we prepare children and students now for jobs that we don't even know what they're going to look like, right? So that's the real question that we looked at. How can we teach a child when we don't know what they're going to need to know, right? So we really had to look at how to fundamentally get to that learning ability.
Man, you make it sound scary. Doctors replaced by airline pilots replaced by computers. And yet, you know, I know it is potentially very possible. Yeah. Katie, let me talk to you about the challenges that educators, the teachers face these days.
Well, teachers in the education field are doing the very best that they can, but oftentimes they're faced with 25, anywhere up to 45 kids in a single classroom. Yeah. And you can imagine what would it be like as a parent having 25 children in your home. It's very complicated, and most teachers only have about 5 minutes per day to read with each child. So children are not getting the attention that they need to be able to really expand their basic skills that they need to be successful in whatever they want to, choose to do when they grow up.
So being a teacher is a very challenging, very difficult job these days. You know, I know both of you have your education, or not your education, but your background really is heavily in education. Explain a little bit about that to me.
Well, Katie and I were both private tutors for over 10 years each. We had a very successful private tutoring business in Houston, Texas. Our clients were, the children of Fortune 500 CEOs and so forth. And what was really interesting is that we found that even the children in those families were struggling with the same things as any child would. So we really started asking questions of how can we have an impact? How can we really change students' lives?
That's interesting. What about your background, Avery?
Well, Doug, actually, I've been fortunate enough to have worked with 2 Fortune 500 companies for over 30 years. One which is Berkshire Hathaway company, of which I've become one of the top distributors in the country.
Your backgrounds are really quite amazing. I'm really fascinated by this subject. Explain to me how this was developed. Where did it come from? What's the story?
Well, it's really interesting. As I said, Katie and I, we were private tutors, and we're the type of people that when we do something, we really want to do the best that we can. So when we looked at our clients and we were trying to figure out how can we help them the most, it's almost like by some kind of fortune or something, we do our research, and we found kind of a mad scientist, if you will, in South Africa who was developing a technology and working with students, and this is in one of the countries that has a very high illiteracy rate. And he was working with both the very poor population and the more wealthy population in South Africa and having amazing results. So when we saw the potential, we went and met with him, and we realized we can take this technology to the world because now it's much needed for everybody.
So you recognize it as being really unique.
Absolutely.
When you got into it. Hey, let me ask you, what do you think makes this technology stand out? What makes it different?
Well, the biggest thing is that everyone right now, we have an education where you have people are doing things for the last 100 years a specific way, whereas TechnoTutor is going where no one's ever gone before and is making education in a way that we can teach the child but improve their self-esteem at the same time.
So Katie, how does it actually work?
Well, imagine what it would be like if you could learn anything. Anything that you decided you wanted to learn. That's what TechnoTutor is really all about. It's about giving you those basic fundamental ability to increase your information processing skills. And when you have that ability, you can go in and learn absolutely anything. So if a child at a young age decides that they want to grow up and be a doctor, they actually have the tool that they need to be able to do that. So it's really amazing.
It's helping them to know how to learn.
Yes.
Is that really what
Yes,
it is? I
how
mean,
to
you're
learn.
not teaching a child how to be a doctor at that point.
Exactly.
But how to learn. We were talking about educating children, but I gather this would be equally applicable to an adult as well. Is that right?
We go from 3 to 93. Right? The old saying that you can't teach old dog new tricks, well, with TechnoTutor, you can. And so everyone can learn and everyone can use TechnoTutor.
And what kind of response have you gotten from the people who've been exposed to this and actually studied with this technology?
It's really cool. We've worked with students and adults in all different levels. We've had students with learning disorders, learning disabilities, cerebral palsy, and different things that, the school system, their teachers, they don't know what to do. But they sit on TechnoTutor, and within 10 minutes, they see an amazing result. And I've seen parents cry because they didn't think their child could learn. And when they see in that moment that they can, they realize that the whole world is open to them. So it's just rewarding being able to share this with people.
I'm so amazed by this. It's really teaching children, adults, how to learn. And this is something they haven't learned before. Right. You mentioned doctors and people who've come in amazed and learning themselves at that point in their education and their work, right?
Yeah,
that's right.
We're able to start their natural learning ability all over again. So it doesn't matter where the person's at in their life. That first 7 years where they physically integrate learning, we're able to start that again at any age.
But obviously, the really big benefit would be to a younger child,
yes,
because they're learning it early on in life, and once they learn it, they don't lose it, right?
No, the way you learn with TechnoTutor, you don't forget it, right?
I also understand that you offer unique opportunities for people to work with your firm. Explain what that is. How does that?
Well, what it is, we have 3 different licenses that we're offering: regional licenses, an area license, and a local license. They're for people who are really passionate about education, about this world, and about how to make a difference in everyone's life. And we look for people who are really dedicated to education.
Tell me about how broad spread this has become since you started. When did this actually begin? How long ago?
Well, we launched not even 3 years ago, about 2.5 years ago.
And where are you now?
Well, we're on 4 continents now. We're all across the U.S., every province in Canada, and we're in Europe and Africa, now Australia, New Zealand, the UK. The list goes on. So,
how do educators, I'm talking about teachers, respond when they're exposed to this? What is their reaction?
I think they get really excited because they can see how when you bring technology in the home and you bring the power of learning back between the parent and the child, the teachers get excited because they know that that child's going to be coming into their classroom prepared, ready, and willing and open to learn. And that's what we really want. We want kids to become teachable and love learning.
The logical question is, if this is so effective, is this something that could eventually be taught in schools rather than just done individually in homes?
Absolutely. I mean, imagine...
Is that your goal, maybe?
It is one of our goals, and there are schools who respond very effectively. We have, for example, dental schools who utilize this in their training programs.
Yep.
Imagine as a teacher, going into a classroom and you're sitting and everybody is ready and willing to listen, right? Because when you are good at something, like learning, you want to do it, you want to be there, right? And when you don't, you feel frustrated and unconfident. So just giving that student the confidence, going into the classroom becomes a pleasurable thing. You're there and eager to learn, and as a teacher, I mean, that's what you're there to do.
So explain to me, how does it work when someone gets this tool? They work with a distributor, right? Number one, the distributor helps show them?
First, we have a person come in and they see the product, because there's no way to understand this without actually seeing it and working with it. And once you've worked with it and see the result in 10 minutes, what we can do, then the person will say, how do I become a part of this? And from there, with how effective we are at building words, building vocabulary, and showing a person that they can actually learn anything and integrate anything that they want to learn, from becoming a doctor to a lawyer to a surgeon to whatever it is that they want to do. This is something that will help mankind.
And the people that you're looking for to work with you, what qualities, not qualities, but what background do they have to have?
Really, the primary thing we look for is that they have a passion for education. We have doctors that are distributors for us. Really? We even have one couple who are sheriffs in their hometown. So there's a background, educators, various different backgrounds of our distributors. So really, it's the passion point, because that's what unites all of us, right? We're really passionate about helping people to be the very best that they can be.
And it's spread all over the country now, right?
All over the world, yeah, that's
all
right.
over the world. You have a website?
We do. It's techno-tutor.com.
So if anybody wants to learn more about it, that's the place to go to find that information. This is really an amazing story, folks. This is interesting and very important. Folks, thank you very much for coming to tell us about it.
Thank you very much.
I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, too.
Now, it's my honor to present this prestigious award to the co-founders of TechnoTutor in Houston, Texas, for the outstanding work their firm is doing to help keep moving America forward. Cameron, I'll hand this to you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Really couldn't have done it without my partners, our amazing team behind the scenes, and especially the team that originally developed this technology. It's an amazing gift to the world, so thank you very much.
You're very, very welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm William Shatner. And for all of us at Moving America Forward, thanks for watching.